Hi, everybody. You are tuned into Real Talk Real Estate, and I am your host today, Lebu. And I have my brother on who is actually a property investor and is going to actually enlighten us more about property investing. His name is Neo. He is a co founder of Non Wealth and a co founder of Real Talk Real Estate. Good morning, Neo. How are you doing today?
Oh, great. Thanks in yourself. Hope everybody's great.
Most definitely. So now I sat through the whole week and was thinking that what type of questions can I actually ask you? And man, trust me, I came actually gun blazing. Looking at property investing, right? We always say that property investing isn't really a one size fits all. So now we have questions that are actually directed towards that, or maybe Neo will actually give us a different light to that. So now, Neo, the first question that I have for you, right, is that on Monday we posted a video that actually spoke about township versus suburb investing. And now this is a conversation that has actually been going on for years. And people are saying that I'm moving towards township investing because a lot of people are actually making a lot of money. And some are saying that no, in the suburbs, I can actually buy one property and actually collect rent from that particular person. So I would like to know from you, where would you actually invest your money? Would you invest your money in a township or in a suburb?
I was actually telling them off record that these questions are quite tricky, and how you go about answering them, one needs to be very strategic. But
Man, I definitely prepared the whole week for these particular questions so that you don't have it easy.
yeah, for me, well, I truly believe that there is a lot of potential in township investing. However, in terms of what I'm looking to achieve, it's going to work more for looking into your suburbs. However, even though looking into your suburbs, it's not your high end, it's more of your middle class. Because I'm in a situation whereby I want to know that if something does go bad with plan A, if I am to sell, plan B, can I sell it at a pace whereby it won't take too much time on the market? And we know that with properties that are ranging from, let's just say, 1.3 million all the way to about 800k, 700, even 600, those are the properties that are actually quite fast on the market. So even if flip was the initial intention, I'd still want to be safe. So for me, that's where I am right now. And the nice thing about property investing, hence I said right now, is that 2 years from now that can change, 3 years from now that can change. So right now that is where I'm at, and the reason being, letting go of the property shouldn't be a problem.
You spoke about something that's really important there. You spoke about the price range that you were actually looking at, right? You said from 600,000 to around maximum 1.3 million, right? So now that's something that a lot of people don't really consider. Some might say that I have 5 million, I can qualify for 5 million, so let me just buy a property that's worth 5 million. However, not considering that when I do need to sell the property, I need to actually be looking at the price range whereby a lot of people are actually in. So now, if I'm looking at people that are in the middle class getting paid or being able to actually afford a price range between 600,000 and 1.2 million, you actually have a bigger pool, which increases the probability of your house selling, right?
I mean, it's crazy as a property investor, because you do not only look at property just as you being the property investor, you're already looking at this property as who is the potential buyer, what are they thinking, and what's the likelihood of somebody buying it. So you're already looking at the demographics of South Africa, you're already looking at the economical structure of how many people are likely to afford this property. So yeah, man, it's quite crazy.
I love this conversation, man. So now there's this thing that we are always talking about, right? Equity, equity, equity. A lot of people are actually talking about equity. So now, to a person that doesn't really understand that what is the fuss around equity, why can't I just buy my property without thinking about these big terms of equity? What is equity, and is it really important for me to consider equity before I actually buy a property?
I mean, equity is a game changer, especially looking at our strategy. When we look at property investing, you need to look at holistically. Don't just look at it from I'm buying the property and then I'm a property owner. You need to be looking at how am I going to grow. So now that's when we saw that growing our portfolio, equity is going to be the game changer in terms of helping us to move on to the next property. So if I can go back to your question and answering it, is that equity, we're talking about how much do you own of the property itself. So for instance, if the property was worth 1 million, you bought it for 800,000, the equity that you own in that property is 200,000. The bank doesn't force you to use that 200,000 to buy into property. It's regarded as a home loan according to affordability again. So what people do is that other people would use this 200,000 to use it for their own reasons.
Yeah, I was about to say that because the last time I actually searched it, it says that equity could, not even equity, they said that if you do want a second loan in your house to actually go on a trip or use it to actually fix your house so that you can live more comfortably. Yes, sir. But I think that's the research that is actually out there, but people don't really understand why would I actually use equity to actually grow my wealth.
I mean, if you liked what like him to be your coach, please hit the link below Calendly, set up a Zoom meeting with us, and then let us discuss how we can add value towards your journey. Going back to what you just talked about, it's very important to actually understand the fundamentals of how are you growing your property journey. Are you that type of person who's securing so much money that they're able to buy them cash, or are you that type of person who has so much credit that it won't be a problem to buy the next property, or are you buying your next property through equity? Those are the three ways that you can actually, or the fourth way is actually using your joint venture or other people's money. However, when I'm using equity, I know that there's not so much stress when it comes to somebody banging on my door that I didn't get my 15% that you promised me. So equity is the game changer that we saw, that this is how we're going to grow our property portfolio.
Nice. So now I know that with Long Wealth, right, there is something that you're currently doing. Is there an event that's actually going to be closer to the end of the month or something like that?
Yes, so we're having an event on the 4th of September. Quite excited about it. The whole team is excited about it. We are going into Cape Town. If you have not secured your seat, please make sure that you just send us an email. You can just say reserving a seat for two, and then we'll make sure that the event that you'll be attending will be nothing like any other event that you have went to. It's going to be a property workshop, a proper property workshop.
So now before we go back to content, right, there's the last question that I want to ask you. Who should attend these events that you are actually hosting right now in Cape Town, and how much?
Or you're aspiring to get into property investing, however, you are scared of the risks associated to property investing, or you just feel that you don't have enough content, that is the type of person that should be attending the event. So the event, there's not going to be a charge associated to attending the event for now. So on site, there will be other services that if you are interested in, you can actually go inquire further about that and see how you can grow your property.
Awesome. So now there's someone out there, right? They heard the different strategies that you can actually implement within property investing. However, they're thinking to themselves, should I rather go for rental or should I flip properties? So now they're really not sure. However, they are actually serious about investing in a property. So now for a beginner or for that person that is actually out there and asking themselves these questions, what would you actually suggest for them? Should they rather go for rental or flip or both?
That's a tricky question, but I would say that anyone, as long as you have the right information and the right person to guide you through that, because at the end of the day, you need to be understanding your time schedule. How available are you? You need to be understanding the money. Do you have capital to invest in that property? I mean, even as a beginner, let's just say that you do not have the cash to inject in the property, but you do have the credit. You qualified for the house, and then you buying distressed, you might find yourself in a challenge. So at the end of the day, in that case, it will be rental. However, you find somebody who will be like, you know what, I'm a beginner, I have all the support, and I'm willing to actually get my hands dirty. I have a project manager who's ready to go on the ground, and let's go. I'm looking for capital gains. Then I would say that it's for flip.
So now, to wrap up this one, right, there is a buzzword that actually is going around right now. People are saying that short-term rentals, which are your Airbnb, bookings.com, right? Me renting out per night. Short-term rentals are a buzzword, right? A lot of people are saying that I'm going to be buying this property to rent it out per night, and I'm actually going to be making a lot of money from that particular transaction. Would you recommend to someone to go into a deal because it's a short-term rental?
Well, let's be honest. Short-term rentals actually changed the game from your normal 30 days. So it gave landlords to rent out at a higher commission, looking at the property from on a daily basis. So if you could multiply, let's say, the rental that you would be getting for one day times 30, you'll actually see its crazy results if you compare it to the 30-day, the conventional way which you'd be renting out to a family or a couple or even a bachelor. So now the thing is, you can't ignore change in property. That's something that you don't want to be left out in. However, at the same time, you can't run into something that you truly do not understand. So what I would encourage, whether it's your first time buyers or somebody, is that get to know what is truly happening. So if you see that per day they are charging about 500 rand, you need to understand all the cost implications that are associated to that 500 rand. So if they're going to be charging you a fee for putting your property on that service, you're going to subtract it from that 500 rand. If you need to be paying somebody to that house, you're going to subtract it because you need to understand what is your net at the end of the day. So what's pushing us to get into the short-term rentals will not be I'll be charging somebody 500 rand for the next 30 days, which will give me 15,000 instead of charging a normal family 7,000. It will rather be how much will I be left with at the end of the month.
I like that statement that you're actually making. So now this is one of the conversations that we were having, right? That it's not about how much you're actually collecting. However, it's about how much you're actually left with. Someone could be in a short-term rental getting paid 15,000 on a monthly basis. However, they only get to keep 1,000. And another person could be in a long-term rental, 1 month, 1 year, and now they are actually keeping around 4,000 on a monthly basis. However, they're only collecting 10,000. So it's just going to be based on how much is actually left, how much is your net, rather.
Yeah. And that's something that you need to consider as a property investor, because at the end of the day, this is what triggers you should you buy or shouldn't you buy in an informed manner. And that is the content that we have been pushing out since day one, that let's get into deals that we truly understand, that this is what is at stake and I truly understand what am I signing into.
No fluff, real talk, real estate. So now that's the time that we actually have. So hope you really actually listened and you actually love the content that we actually put out. So until next time, have an awesome week.